So this is a conversation with Tanya Slattery. Hi, Tanya.
Hello.
So we're going to be talking about mindfulness, reactivity in your experience.
Okay.
So maybe you want to talk about it, say, in when you're with clients or in your private life. What would feel
Easier to talk about clients.
Yeah.
Easier. But, it's easy to start with clients. And I'd be certainly willing to go into more personal things.
Okay. So let's start about, maybe an example of a moment.
I get very reactive when people start arguing with me, when I'm telling them something that is, obviously true in our session.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's obviously true to me. And they start arguing against it because they don't want to talk about it or look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they're just arguing for the sense of arguing, which I understand it's fine in reality because it just gives us something to talk about. But I find inside me, I start getting annoyed. It's like, it's just fighting for no reason here. Or you're arguing against something I find is really true, and that makes me reactive because I'm sure about what I said.
Okay, so there's a very real trigger.
Yes, it's a real trigger.
Yeah, somebody arguing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I know that's, what I say, it doesn't matter what, it isn't important that I'm right or they're wrong, but I just react because I suppose I just feel like I'm giving them a gift of knowledge or something, and they're just not wanting to receive it at all. And then I have to look at myself because I get all, I tend to expand. And
So you're noticing you're making a gesture with your hands. So you're
I don't
noticing.
necessarily do that with the client.
No. Mm-hmm. But I mean, in describing right now what it is, and so it's like you're describing that sensation inside. So what's that sensation like that you're noticing?
I actually my awareness myself starts getting larger in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, whoa, what's going on here? Am I going to, it's a very good question, see. That's my natural tendency. It's like an escape pattern or a trigger pattern or fight or flight. I get larger because I want to kind of leave. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to relate it to the person arguing with me. But I think I always want to do that.
Yeah. And
what I notice that when I do that, and I do that a lot, if I don't gather myself, I have to take a moment, that can be 2 seconds, half a second, and I have to pull myself together again because I have to look at, like, Tanya, you are arguing with your patient, which is it doesn't work. It isn't appropriate for the situation. It'd be much better if I listened because they need to tell me something at that moment. And if it's contradicting what I just said, well, so be it, and just see what they have to say. But the only way I can get myself into that listening mode again is if I actually pull my energies in. I literally feel myself coming back. Like my aura, whatever you want to call it, is coming back, getting closer. And I really have to get into between my eyes, the middle of my face. And just really for me, I call it being, right in the middle of my spine. That's where my mindfulness and my focus comes from.
So what's happening is we're next to each other so I can see you as we talk. And the recording is the audio part only. So I'm going to describe a little bit of what I see of your movements. Because part of the description is when you're describing that larger is I'm seeing your arms expand, get larger, and then you're making the gesture of your arms getting closer, like a container that becomes
container. That's
smaller.
Right. I need to be contained.
Yeah. So it feels like a sense of the containment.
Right.
And you're also having your hand move along the middle of your face, from the middle of your forehead, through the nose and your chin. And there's that sense of you're describing a line that you see in your mind's eye, and a sense of what the sense I have as I'm hearing you is that sense of containing and that physical almost sense of centered along the line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if and when I can get to that state, even close to that midline, then I'm fine. I can actually be present for the argument, the contradiction, whatever triggered me, and actually listen to the person. Or, whatever. Or I can listen to whatever I don't agree. It doesn't matter because right now they need to be saying what they're saying, and they don't actually, like that one, the one incident I'm talking about, she didn't really want to hear my explanation or any more on it. She just wanted her experience, that bit there, and she just wanted me to listen to it.
Yeah. So there was a sense of, you wanted to say your piece, she wanted to say her piece.
And she didn't want to hear another piece.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, I always want to say my piece.
And that's where you have that experience of noticing how you get larger. But so I'm curious about that sense that you described, that process of you feel larger and then you're containing. Is that something that's like an image in your mind? Or is there also a body sensations? What is it that you're conscious of as that happens?
It's more body sensation. I actually feel like my energy, my thoughts, I'm just...
Yeah.
I'm getting bigger.
Yeah.
And it's actually not unpleasant. It's not a pleasant feeling. It's like, I'm going to be out of control here.
So it's not really pleasant?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So it's not bigger in a sense of, nice, occupying more.
No.
But it's really like a sense of you're going outside of your boundaries or getting out of control.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, it's like a general sense. It's not something that you notice in a special area of your body or...
No, it's mostly my upper, my trunk. I don't know where my legs are. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily feel my legs involved. Maybe it would be better if they were. But it's my upper head, body, trunk area.
Yeah. But so what we're doing now is not actually trying to figure out in a way how else you could do it, but just describing what happens.
What it is. Right.
And so what happens is it's something that's like a felt sense of getting larger and one that's not comfortable. As when you notice it, there's a part of you that starts, so what happens then? How do you shift from that to wanting to do something about it?
When I can actually look at the situation a little rationally or notice what's going on. I used to just get into that state and I was gone. That dissociative state.
Yeah.
Not necessarily with clients, it's more with personal stuff. It gets out of control for me. At least with, again, clients, it's a different relationship. But I have actually lost it with certain clients because they dissociate and I dissociating together. But when I finally realized I could for but 1 second, and that's where the mindfulness came in for me, that a second is a really long time. Even a half a second is a long time. And I can look at the situation as like, here I go again. I'm expanding. It's uncomfortable. I'm having a hard time looking, seeing what the situation really needs. But without even going into the other person or the situation, I have to see what do I need at that moment to bring myself back together and so I can actually be more present.
So something about the difference is that there is something that interrupts the cycle.
I think it's my mental, it's more mental. It's my larger self. And some people might call it the third eye, which is more, clear thinker. I mean, these are all different terms.
Right.
There's some of that rational piece of me that notices that it's getting a little out of control. It's like...
Right. So that observing self,
that
little part is hovering there. It need not be very big, but just it allows you for just even a fraction of a second to notice, here I go again. Here's where I am. And so you're still involved in it. But
it gives me that choice.
Yeah.
And it is a choice.
Yeah.
That's what I've come to. It's like, you chose not to go that to rational
Right.
being. You chose to actually, very interesting. Sometimes it gets too far.
So, again, as I'm watching you, which is not necessarily something people can hear,
Right.
there's a smile, as you notice that. So I want to just stay with the smile for a moment, and what's
Absolutely.
it like to have that? There's something pleasant about the noticing.
Well, it's a little naughty because sometimes if I'm feeling a little argumentative, if I choose not to contain myself and actually try to, be expansive, which makes me a little bit more frenetic, and actually be led into an argument or confrontation right now I'm thinking about a little argument and confrontation and wanting to put my opinion into the mix. Well, I can forget about the observing mind, the rational mind saying, it's time to contain yourself and just go into it.
So there's something else. It feels very nice. So in other words, there's a sense of freedom that, this observing self is not somebody who's going to force you to do something.
No. It's giving me a choice.
It's giving you a choice.
Right.
Okay.
So there is that freedom. You do, it's a split second, but this is the split second.
Right.
Your choice.
Right. So absolutely not forced to do that,
No.
but actually it's like you discover that there is a freedom and if you decide to
And there
just
is a
act
choice.
out, you can do it and you have full, in a way, the pleasure of responsibility of having decided that you act out.
Right. And the freedom and pleasure of realizing when you have to run to the ladies' room, I really didn't handle that very well. And then of course you can repair whatever you need to repair. But there is that, this is really good to discuss things. I need to, that moment is not, it's a split second, but it's still a choice. It's still a choice. And it's really, you have to decide what choice you like to make. And maybe in the beginning I want to be more confrontational. Maybe that's my pleasure. But I see it causes more conflict.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how to do it well, so I could practice with it, but I find that more and more I'm choosing to bring myself in.
Right. So it's interesting because as we uncover this, what's happening is there's a lot of stuff going on. Because it's not just about, say, wanting to argue, but there's also parts about you. I want to say more of myself. And there is something about that moment, and the moment and the power, how in that small moment you have that possibility of choice. And the choice can be, I know how much it would be fun for me to do that, but it's not what I really want to do.
Or it isn't the best decision at that moment.
At that moment, yeah. But so let's go back a little bit because in a way we're talking about that moment, but there was a time in your life where you didn't have that moment available.
I didn't know it was there.
So there's some moments where you have it more than others.
Yes.
So let's come back to, in a way, as you recall this particular moment that you were talking about with that client, do you have a sense of what makes this moment possible or not possible?
Just self-awareness. I've been kind of, studying, talking about this, the possibilities of that fight or flight or dissociation is actually one is able to, you don't have to lose yourself in it.
Well, so when you mentioned self-awareness, we've been talking about this. In a way, it's like psych education. There's a sense of you have a context for those moments, and you've thought about them. You have a context. So when they happen, there's the possibility for that part of your mind that is not in activation to go and say, "Aha, yeah, this fits into that category."
Right. Yeah. There is a choice. Unless you're totally and you just don't know. And children, maybe children fall into that category more, but that's a whole different thing also. After a while, unless you're totally psychotic, we do kind of somewhere in our being know that we do have a little choice. We kind of know when we're acting out. At least this is how I feel. But it all happens so quickly that it's really hard. Like you're like way past the point of no return, and it's like, boy, that was the point of return, and I just sped right by it. For me, because I like to break things down, and I heard Vipassana, Buddhism, that moment. People have told me through the years that you always every minute you have 60 opportunities for that second to change everything. And then with meditation, you realize a second is a long time, and there are many moments, and that gave me possibilities. And that's taken many years to really choose to slow down, really believe it's true, whatever works.
So let me restate what I'm hearing.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's a sense of the two things in a way. One is, over time, the experiences of life, and noticing in a way, thinking back on them. This is where I went too far. This is
Yeah, and being willing to look at that.
Being willing to look at that.
Being honest. Yeah.
So in a way, this is part of the learning by trial and error.
Yes, very much trial and error. Yes.
And then the other part you notice, and you say, as I practice meditation, there's a sense of being aware of how long a second is, so that just in a way that inhabiting the moment, and it's not necessarily say just with meditation, but it could be like the practice of SE. Just that observing, that paying it.
That observing, even walking, and all of a sudden, you're just like, second.
Yeah. So that confluence of two things. One is, I know that there are moments where I can go too far, moments that I don't, and how to have a choice.
Right.
And then identifying the possibility that actually in a very short moment, there's the possibility of stopping and making a choice.
Yeah. It's fascinating. And I know this is not new knowledge, but I keep coming back to, it's like, God, I've heard this stuff for years. Why has it taken me so long? Because it isn't real. It's until you really embody it, really feel it for yourself, that, then you kind of know, and everybody has to find their own way of feeling it, describing it, using it. It's just everybody has their own particular experience. Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes people get it very quickly. But I don't know why I say this, but that's what it is. It's like that second. And what's important for me is if that second goes, like if I was like looking at it saying, oh, what do I need to do? Let it go, and then the other second will reappear. It is interesting that it's limitless.
Right.
I believe that once I lost that second, that was a real problem in my life. If I had that opportunity and I didn't make the good decision, the decision is lost.
Right.
That timing is lost, and I'm back in the quagmire or whatever quagmire.
Yeah.
And that was a deep belief system, and I think it's a deep belief system for a lot of people.
Yeah. So very important that the second is really that moment where it can happen in that tiny moment, but then if it doesn't happen, it's okay because you have another second.
Because the other second is going to come.
Yeah.
And it'll come more quickly and easily if you believe that concept. And I don't even like the word believe. I'm very conscious about how people can miss, words are really, really hard. But it's like, the moment will come back. It'll be maybe different, but it will come back. To refocus, get your equilibrium back.
Yeah.
And the flavor will be different from the other one.
Right.
But it could be better. It could be just different. It'll be educated from the last moment, if you're aware of the last moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And this is all new kind of stuff.
Yeah. So that sense of, in a way, it's something that's born of experience.
Yes.
And experience of, having lived life.
Thought about life. A little whatever.
Yeah.
Not just being, you have to, we are mental creatures. We have to observe and
and then that practice that actually it's not just observing in a passive way,
Right. That's
but
right.
you have
That's
the
right.
opportunity in a tiny moment actually to make little changes.
Yes.
And so that's a mixture of both, the observing, but also very much that capacity to say, oh, I'm going to do this little experiment. I'm going to behave a little differently. And I have choices.
Right.
So.
I like that. Behaving, a little experiment. I'm going to behave a little bit differently. You don't have to give it all. Just a tiny little change of focus a little differently.
This recording is part of the Somatic Mindfulness and Relational Psychotherapy podcast. See the website relationalimplicit.com.